Well, now, from someone who's supporting Rishi Sunak, friend of the programme, Minister for Care and Mental Health, Gillian Keegan. Hi, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us. We've missed your smiling face. I wonder how much Rishi Sunak's smiling this morning. Didn't do as well as he expected.
A quarter of the parliamentary party when you've got 8 candidates. That's pretty good, I think. My maths says that's pretty good.
OK, but Penny Mordaunt's probably cock a hoop this morning.
I'm sure Penny is really pleased with her result, yeah.
Why do you think she's done so well?
I don't know, actually. I don't know Penny so well. I don't really know Penny so well. But, you know, I still think it's very clear that Rishi has a very strong following. He's got a lot of support. He's got a lot of support of lots of different people, actually, North, South, Brexiteers, Remainers, lots of different seats. He's even got the support of most of the former chancellors. So there's a lot of support for Rishi.
Where do the next votes come from, though? Because it looks as though the other candidates are more to the right. So once they fall in behind, potentially, I don't know, Liz Truss, or then it's becoming much more complicated for your guy.
It's complicated anyway, because if you even look at the mix of people, you know, people are not forming into the same camps that you could have seen, you know, maybe in last elections. There's definitely people who've got very different views, you know, certainly on Brexit, but also on other issues, who are actually joining together. And I think that's because, I mean, certainly in the case of Rishi, I think what we all recognise is the experience he has and the experience we need. These are serious times. We're in serious times, need serious people, and I think that's probably why he's building quite a wide coalition.
You say that, but there's been some disastrous polling for him from YouGov, poll of party members, and it looks as, well, definitely, as far as they were concerned, with their party member polling, Mordaunt 67%, Sunak 28%.
So our party members are pretty open-minded, and they're going to go through a process where there's 5 hustings all over the country, and they will be put through the mill, through the test. That actually is the process that counts. It's the only process that counts. And, you know, there isn't a single issue like there was last time. They will really put them through, and they'll get to know them better.
There is a single issue, isn't there? It's the cost of living.
Well, the single issue is who can navigate us through the cost of living and grow our economy. Absolutely. Who can tackle inflation, tackle the cost of living, grow our economy, and then cut taxes is the approach that Rishi's taking.
Yeah, but they know all of that. I mean, they're not stupid, your members, are they? And 67% of them think Penny Mordaunt...
Well, it's a poll, Kate. There's many polls, as you know.
Yeah.
And actually, a lot of the polls at this point, you know, you can take a little with a pinch of salt. When they get to know the candidates, when they don't know all the candidates very well. I mean, we don't know who the final 2 will be, but some of them, you know, are not as well known. When they go through those hustings 5 times all over the country, the members will then make a decision. They know they're making a serious decision. They know they're making a decision about who will lead the country, and actually one of the most influential countries in the world during very challenging times, both at home and abroad, with global inflation and with the war in Ukraine. They know the size and the magnitude of this decision.
Rishi Sunak says he'll run the economy like Margaret Thatcher. That's not even close, though, is it?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean that in March, Rishi Sunak said he would raise the UK's tax burden to its highest level in 70 years. Maggie Thatcher was never...
You make your decisions based on the times that you're in. I think that's why all the former chancellors have said we back Rishi's plan, and we think Margaret Thatcher would as well, because obviously she didn't have to deal with a pandemic. Obviously, we didn't have exactly the same situation in terms of a war in Ukraine. Obviously, there was the Falklands War, but that was a long further away. So your times are your times. You get the hand that you're dealt with.
You can't say that you're going to run the economy like Margaret Thatcher, then, can you? I mean,
sensibly is what you mean, sensibly. So what you're saying, don't you...
Corporation tax from 52% to 34%, income tax from, I've got the figures in front of me, 33% to 25%. Rishi Sunak plans to raise corporation tax from 19% to 25% and no immediate impact on tax.
What were the numbers that you mentioned for Margaret Thatcher? From 52 to...
52 to 34.
Yeah, and today it's 19.
Yeah.
It's a totally different situation. It's not just whether it goes one...
to put them up there, doesn't it?
Yes, that's the current plan.
So that's going the opposite direction.
Yeah, but it's not about where the arrow points. It's actually the...
I think it is.
It's actually the rate and how it compares to other countries as well. And that's quite an important point, because what you're doing with your corporation tax is trying to attract inward business investment, which we are still a very popular destination for foreign direct investment and for business investment. And he's been very innovative about some of the business investment focuses he's got with the super deductor, with free ports, etc. It's a very, you know, you do what your time requires.
Okay.
And I think he is very determined to cut taxes. We're all determined to cut taxes. We're Conservatives. But you've got to do it after you've tackled inflation.
Yeah, you say when inflation is brought under control. What does that actually mean?
Inflation is going down and not up.
As soon as it starts to fall?
Well, that will be a decision for him. But yes, when you get to the point where you think you've got inflation under control, if you do it the other way round, you risk...
It's the plank of your manifesto, you have to know. So
you risk, if you do it the other way round...
When you say inflation's brought under control, is it as soon as it starts to fall? Is it when you feel that it's plateaued? When is it?
I think there'll be a number of views in terms of the economists' views, but it's when we feel confident that these inflationary rises are caused by shortage of supply post the pandemic and the whole supply chains being disrupted, plus the war in Ukraine. You know, if the war in Ukraine ended in 3 months' time, it would change the picture. If it doesn't and it goes on, and you know, we've also got the questions of what happens with grain, etc. So there's a lot of very complex things. So we will cut taxes as soon as we possibly can, based on.
What you said is when inflation is under control.
As soon as we possibly can, once inflation's under control. There's no point in raise if you raise.
So we don't know when that's going to.
If you raise taxes, which then fuel inflation, which then also raise interest rates. You may have more money in your pocket, but you've got to spend a lot more. There's no point. It doesn't. That's when you get into the sort of spiral.
She plans to borrow in order to pay for tax cuts, and she says that will spare extra growth.
Well, our borrowing costs right now are about £83 billion a year. That is, you know, more than we spend, way more than we spend on defence, even during these times. So if you want to increase that by more, then, you know, I think that's dead money. So I don't personally, you know, I want to see that come down as much as possible. But we can't ignore the fact we've been through a pandemic.
Okay.
The furlough scheme and all the other schemes cost a lot of money, but they did protect people's jobs and they did protect the businesses in our country.
Why didn't you resign?
Well, because I'm the social care and mental health minister, and you know, it's so important, everything that I'm doing. The massive reforms. We know that we have to build our mental health services to get the capacity. We know we have to reform social care to take that pressure off the NHS and also make sure we've got a much better social care system. So you didn't
resign because your job's important?
Yes, and I knew what I had to do, Kate. I knew all the things I had to do. The first meeting on Thursday was with the new ICS chairs.
So
I knew what I had to do.
If you didn't resign because your job's important, did Rishi Sunak not think that his job was important?
No, everyone has their own equation, and he'd obviously been closer and had these conversations with the Prime Minister.
You resign, then, given the state of the economy.
No, not at all. Some people resigned, and actually, my colleagues, you have to make. It's a really hard decision. If you resign, you know that's one thing, and I know many colleagues are really sad that they're not able to do the jobs, but they just felt they had to do this to create, to get rid of the last Prime Minister or the current Prime Minister. But in my case, the balance that I took was, you know, you've got to get a balance. You've got to have some people running the country as well. So
yeah, but how much more? I mean, the most important job in the country after the Prime Minister is the Chancellor of the Exchequer, especially during a crisis that could see us heading towards recession.
Yeah.
And because he wants the top job, he decided, selfishly, some might say, to resign when we were right in the middle of it. And I'm guessing that grassroots members who will be voting who the next Prime Minister is will see him as a Judas.
I don't think so. I think it depends on your view of the former Prime Minister or the current Prime Minister. You know, some people will feel that, but some people will feel, you know, we had the Chris Pincher episode was just the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, we spent all of our time when there were serious things, and I've been on this show many times wanting to talk about mental health or social care, and we've talked about, you know, parties or, you know, other people's behaviour, which is not what we need to be talking about. We have to run the country and we have to do it well.
Who do you think are going to be in the final two?
I don't know, but I think... I hope Rishi is in the final two. I mean, you know, now everyone's going to be working very hard for votes. It can move around quite quickly. I hope he is in the final two. But we do have a fantastic range of candidates. And I must say, I am really proud when I open that paper and see them all. It is amazing, right? I'm proud of our party.
Are you speaking to your guy every day at the moment?
Yes.
OK, will he come on and do our debate next week?
I don't know, but I will ask him for you, Kate.
Yeah, should he?
I don't know anything about your debate. I don't know when it's happening or...
It's next week. It's on Monday. I know there's a vote on Monday, but, it gives them the opportunity to speak directly, not just to other candidates, but to also, and other MPs, but also to the grassroots.
I am sure...
And we've got 100 people in the audience.
Oh, right, OK. I am sure everybody will want to... I mean, the country quite rightly will want to ask questions as well. It's not just about us and then the Conservative members. So there will be, I'm sure, a lot of engagement. He's very open. I think he has a great style, actually. He's very... even my taxi driver was saying that this morning.
So is that a yes?
I can't answer for him. I'm not his media person. But I will tell him that you would love him to come on.
Fantastic.
I'll put a word in for you.
Yeah, I'm sure our viewers will as well. You're very kind. Thank you, Gillian Keegan. Thanks very much indeed.